Kayla Chapman, what's going on, my sisters? How can you prevent ungodly soul ties with the opposite sex? Great question. Well, in order to prevent, you got to understand what it is. Before you can prevent, you got to know what it is. So let's define what a soul tie is. We talked about earlier that your soul houses your thoughts, memories, emotions, your ideas, your perspectives, your knowledge bank, and your skills. All the skills you develop over the years in your soul. All the thoughts in your soul, all your memories in your soul, all your emotions in your soul, all your perspectives in your soul, all your ideas in your soul, all the knowledge that you've acquired over years in your soul. Now, once you understand what your soul is, you'll begin to understand how vulnerable your soul is. And when you begin to think about that, you'll begin to say that whatever my soul is in, environment wise, will soak that in. So now you got to look at each compartment. What is tied to your, what is tied to your thoughts, what is tied to your memories, what is tied, or what could be tied to those things. Now, when you begin to see the vulnerability of the soul and the value of the soul, then you take a little bit more time to consider who you get to know. Now, a soul tie, there's three levels. There's a soft soul tie, there's a mild soul tie, and there's a strong soul tie. A soft soul tie is just you're just tied at the surface level. There's no deep tie that has occurred. You're tied to a teammate. You're tied because what happens with your teammate affects you, whether it's on your job or in the sports arena. Soft tie. A mild tie is when you're getting more involved. Now, a strong tie is when sex has occurred or deep intimacy in any kind of way. That's why I tell people who are courting or dating, it's not wise to pray together intimately. It's not wise to have Bible studies intimately. Like it's not wise in the early stages of dating or courting because that's too intimate. It's not wise to have a real strong conversations early on because then you begin to get tied emotionally, and then your hopes get tied. And then when you start investing so deeply in deep emotional conversations too early, deep spiritual connection too early, that's why you shouldn't go to the church together, because how do we know if y'all going to end up together? So you don't create this spiritual tie, you don't create this emotional tie. Then if you get sexual, now you create this physical tie. And if y'all are mentally stimulating of each other and y'all minds come together and y'all start a business or you start an idea or you start serving together using your intellectual properties, joining them together, now you become mentally tied. So how do you prevent that? First, you must understand the value of your soul and your soul's vulnerability. And you got to make sure that you don't veer in with other people, especially the opposite sex, especially if they're attractive, because once two souls come together, they're going to naturally do what they do. That's why you can't be soul led, you have to be spirit led. Spirit led says God has confirmed this for me. Spirit led is also saying that I'm not going to jeopardize or compromise my focus or my purpose until the time. I love that my wife did that to me. When I was pursuing her, my wife was like, if you want to talk to me, you got to meet me after my grad school classes. I parked my car in UNC Charlotte right beside her car. And if I wanted to spend time with her, I had to spend time after she handled her business. It took us almost 9 months to a year for us. We was talking 9 months to a year before we went out to eat, because she knew. And she knew that if she really got close to me too soon, that Riz was going to Riz. You see what I'm saying? It is what it is. Because even your purpose person will cause a strong bond. But if you're spiritually led and you're purpose driven, purpose focused, then you won't allow yourself to, because you understand that I have built up a life. Now, if you're desperate for love, if you're impulsive for love or impatient for love, then my friend, you won't build anything of your own worth losing. That's why you have to have something worth losing so that you won't end up losing it. And purpose, and what you build in purpose and what you build in your life, you will begin to protect that. And if you have single stuff to protect, then you will really inspect before you connect. So before a prospect comes, you have to already have something to protect. So when you already have something to protect, when that prospect comes, then you will inspect that prospect thoroughly, because you know that if they join with you, they get access to not only you, but your equity and purpose and equity and whatever it is that you have. You have to have something of value. You have to know that you're valuable, and that will prevent you from creating a soul tie, because you already know that your soul is valuable and your soul is vulnerable. Therefore, you won't veer near somebody else that's not for you. And even when you do find the one, that natural protectiveness, that natural progressiveness will cause you to navigate at a pace that's spirit led.